What's up guys, Gary with SelfTaughtDev. Today we are going to go over how to test your code with Jest. Now why do you want to test your code? Why do you want to use Jest? Well, let's say you're working on a project and you add a new feature or fix a bug and you want to make sure that what you did isn't going to break anything else in your code base, right? Now you can manually go in and test all the features and make sure that you didn't break anything, but that can be very time consuming depending on how big your project is. So wouldn't it be nice if there was just a command you could run like npm run test, and then it programmatically goes through everything and makes sure that it still works? Well, that's what testing can do for you. So let's get going. Over here in our terminal, we're gonna say make dir, we're just gonna call this Jest tutorial. And then we're gonna switch directories into that. Now we also need to say npm init-y. Now what this is doing, this is basically just gonna set up a package JSON for us. And then the -y is gonna accept all of the default values. So like if we run this right now, if we don't have the -y flag, it's gonna say, hey, what do you want to name this? What version is this? What do you want the description to be? Yada, yada, yada. And the -y just uses the defaults and fills in a lot of that for us. So just saves us time. Now, next, we want to actually add Jest. So if we go over here and look in our Jest tutorial directory here, we've got a package JSON now. So now if we do npm I, and this is just the shorthand for npm install, --save-dev Jest, and we're gonna press enter and add that. And what this is doing, again, the I is just shorthand for npm install, --save-dev, that's going to install it as a development dependency, meaning it's not gonna, if this was a project we turned into like a production build and like published, it wouldn't include Jest in that production build because you don't want to have your test in that production build. It's assumed that you run your test on the dev side, so you don't have to include Jest with the production build because that would just like add extra fluff and like more memory or more data that you have to send out with your production code, and you want to keep that bundle as small as possible. All right, so we've got Jest installed now. If we look over here in our package JSON, we can see Jest as a dev dependency here. And we also need to change this test command to just say Jest. So now if we run npm run test, it will execute Jest for us. Now, what is Jest gonna run on? Well, Jest is going to look for files in your repo that have a .test.js extension. So let's go ahead and make a file like that. First off, what are we going to test? Let's touch a file called cars.js. And then we'll also make a file called cars.test.js. And that's the one Jest is going to look for and run. And that's the one we're going to include our tests in. Now let's just go give this some data. So we've got something to test. First, what are we going to say? We'll say const model x, because I like Tesla, and we'll just make this an object, and we'll give this some stuff here. What do we want to give this? We'll say a color is going to be black. It's going to have an interior that's going to be leather. I don't even know if you can get leather interiors with Tesla or leather, if I can spell. What else do we need? We want a top speed of, I don't know what the top speed is, 170, 160. I don't know what a reasonable top speed is. I'm not super into cars, but we need a number to test. So that'll be our number to test. We can also say a range is going to be 250. That sounds reasonable, right? I think. And then is electric car is going to be true because this is an electric car, right? And then we'll just save, and then down here we'll say module.exports, and we want to export the model X we just created. Sweet, so now we're exporting this from our cars.js file. We're gonna go to our cars.test here, and we want to say const model X equals require the car /cars, and then we'll have our model X here. So if we just console log model X, and then save, and then if we do npm run test, so it'll look in our package JSON and it'll say, hey, we have a script called test, right? What are we supposed to do when he calls this? Jest, and then it'll just run Jest. So if we run this, it's gonna fail, I think, but it console logged our model X. Sweet, so we know that that's getting into our test file successfully. So now we can add some tests to our car. So first thing we want to do, we're going to set up a describe block. And this is, what is that? We don't need that. Describe is what you're usually going to use to group your code together. So you'll have a describe block, and then you'll have multiple tests inside of that. So we'll say the model X, and then inside of it, we can say test. And this is what we're going to write a test inside here. So what's the first thing we want to test? We'll say is fast. And then we can say expect our model X dot top speed to be greater than, and this is a number, what did we say? We said like 160 or 170, right? So as long as it's greater than 150, we'll say it's fast. I also don't think I need to import that. Sweet, and then let's just make sure that works. So we'll say npm run test again, and our test passed. So it said, hey, model X dot top speed. So it got the top speed here, which is 170. So it basically put 170 here, and it was like, hey, is 170 greater than 150? It's true. All right, cool. This test passed. This test passes, and then we got a 1 here for our one test that passed. Now, like I said, this is a describe basically groups your tests together. So all of our tests for model X should be in here, and we can write multiple tests in here. So let's test that the color is black. And these are not great theoretical tests, but they demonstrate how to use it at a basic level. So model X dot color to be black. Not export, we want to expect that. And then what else do we need to test on here? What else is on our object? We've got a range. We can test is an electric car. Expect, I cannot spell, X dot to be truthy. So now we've got 3 tests. We're saying, hey, is it fast? And then we're testing if the top speed is greater than 150. We're saying, is the color black? Then we're checking the color, and we expect it to be black. And then we're saying, is this an electric car, to test our Boolean? And we're saying, expect the model X is electric car to be truthy. So now if we save this and then run this one more time, we should have 3 passing tests now. Sweet. So we have 1 test suite, which is this describe block here. And then we have 3 passing tests, which are these 3 tests here. Now let's test an actual function. We're just gonna make a new file for it. So we'll touch sum.js, and then we also want to touch sum.test.js. And in here, we're just gonna have a simple function. And it's just gonna sum 2 numbers that you give it. And then in our sum.test, first we need to say const sum equals require, and we're gonna require sum. And then you don't have to have a describe block. We can just use test on its own. So we can say test sum 1 plus 2 equals 3. And then in here we can say expect sum 1, 2 to equal 3. And then if we say, why does it keep trying to import those? That's annoying. I don't want to do that. And then we can run our tests again. Oh, nope, we don't want to touch that. Did it just delete our file? It didn't override that, did it? All right, cool. We're going to say npm run test. And now it's going to go through both of those files. So as you can see, we got 2 test suites. So it was running the test suite in our cars.test.js file, and then also the 1 test in our sum.test.js. But since this is in a different file, it considers this a different test suite. But that's about it for the basics of Jest. There's a lot more to it, like snapshot testing and mocking functions, but if that's a little bit more advanced, and we're just gonna cover the basics in this video. So if you want to learn more about that advanced stuff, hit that thumbs up button and let me know in the comments below, and I will make a video covering that as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the cool content I'm putting out. What else do I want to say? If you need practice projects, if you're an aspiring front-end developer, check out selftaught-dev.com, and I have a bunch of practice projects there for free for you guys. And also you can come hang out in Discord. There's a link to the Discord in the description below, and you can come chat with me or other aspiring devs or other developers and ask questions, get feedback on code, anything like that. And I think that's about it for this one. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Round 1.